Thanks for joining us here on this Monday. Hope you had a nice weekend. Hope you had a nice Mother's Day. At 6 a.m. now, I'm Eric Connors.
And I'm Netta Irampour. It was perfect, hopefully, for all the moms to fulfill those wishes that you had. Weather-wise, it cooperated. Meteorologist Evan Arati joining us here this morning. The warmer weather still for today, right?
Warmer weather, especially and not even especially, just exclusively out toward East County, out toward our local mountains and deserts. That's where things are going to stay hot for this afternoon. Mountains are going for the upper 80s, maybe some low 90s possible, but otherwise it seems like 80s will be pretty common. 108 out toward the deserts on average. Coastal and inland forecast staying mild thanks to May Gray. May Gray is already allowing for some foggy conditions. It's being interpreted by some of those monitoring sites as drizzle, but doesn't seem like we're actually getting anything hitting the ground. Instead, it's just that fog in Fallbrook, in Ramona, in El Cajon to start off the morning. So visibility reduced to start the day, looking clear by the afternoon. Back to you.
All right, Evan, thank you for that. And now new this morning, 2 people are in custody accused of stabbing 4 others in Oceanside. This happened just before 3 this morning near the beach on South Pacific Street at Cassidy Street. We just spoke to police. They tell us they tracked down the suspects in a car at El Camino Real and Douglas Drive. It's unclear what led to the stabbing. Police say 1 victim is in critical condition. 3 others have moderate injuries. And now, after years of delays, Larry Millette's murder trial will finally get underway this morning.
The Chula Vista man is accused of killing his wife, Maya, 5 years ago. News 8's Tori Apodaca live at the South Bay Courthouse with the challenges both sides face before opening statements even start here. Tori.
Hi, good morning, Netta and Eric. The big challenge is really going to be finding a jury, people who have not already heard about this case. That way they can really just look at all of the evidence that is presented in court. Of course, though, that's going to be difficult because this is such a high-profile case that has gained a lot of attention over the past few years. Larry Millette, accused of killing his wife, Maya Millette, in 2021. She disappeared from her Chula Vista home, and her body has still never been found. That is a fact the court has asked potential jurors if they could remain fair on. 278 potential jurors filled out a questionnaire to see if they'd be a good fit for trial. About half of them are returning today. In the process to dwindle them down to 12 jurors, 6 alternates will begin. We spoke with legal experts unrelated to the case who say defense will likely try to avoid jurors who have personally experienced controlling relationships, whereas prosecution will want people on the jury who are more open to affair allegations.
That's how the jurors are supposed to feel when they see Mr. Millette. No way, prove it to me. What has he done wrong? Prove it. So that's the stance that they need to be sitting there on the first day of jury selection is, prove it to me.
So jury selection will begin here at 8:30 this morning. It could take up to 2 weeks, though, to select a full jury, and it is expected that the trial could last around 3 months. Reporting in Chula Vista, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
You can watch our coverage of the Larry Millette case through the CBS 8 app on your TV. Stream now for free. This morning, the Chula Vista police officers are recovering here after police say a suspected drunk driver slammed into their patrol vehicle. This happened at the corner of Olympic Parkway and Santa Venetia Street around 2 a.m. yesterday. Investigators say a speeding white sedan ran a red light and slammed into the back of the marked police SUV, knocking it off the road and onto an embankment. The officer and 2 people inside the sedan were injured and taken to hospitals. We're told their injuries are not life-threatening. Well, today you're invited to learn more about Mayor Todd Gloria's proposed budget and potential cuts.
This comes as the mayor's office addresses concerns about December nights getting canceled. News 8's Chris Crow live along Harbor Island to give us all the details. Chris, what's going on now?
Yeah, good morning, guys. A lot of budget news expected to happen this week. Let's start with, of course, what it is that those who live in Henry Foster's district, which is District 4, what they can do to get a little bit of better sense of what some of these budget cuts and what this budget entails, and also ask some questions. So there's going to be a workshop that's going to be held here. You can see the information about that now. That'll start at 6 p.m. There will be representatives from the Independent Budget Analyst Office who will be able to answer some of those questions and could voice even some of your concerns. Now, Mayor Todd Gloria, in 2 days, will be presenting his final budget draft to the City Council. We know there's been a lot of questions about a number of different cuts because of the budget deficit that the mayor is having to balance right now. But the big conversation going into the weekend was the potential for December nights to be cut. Now, it was actually Council President and Council Member Kent Lee who questioned a member of the mayor's staff about a line item to a position that was going to be cut, asking if this could impact December nights. And that person from the mayor's staff said that they are reevaluating what we can make possible to the extent it may not be happening at all. We then heard from the mayor's office, who said that they were looking at reimagining this, but that there were constrained budget times. They have also now released an Instagram video, and it's on Facebook as well, too, from the mayor's office, where they are calling reports of December nights being on the chopping block inaccurate. They go on to say that it will continue, may be reimagined, and that it's an opportunity for businesses and those in philanthropy to help. Of course, December nights does cost the city around $1.5 million. I did reach out to Councilmember Kent Lee's office to see what his reaction is to what the mayor has been saying, both in that statement, but then also with the mayor's office put out in that video, saying that they were going to try to make it stronger and try to reimagine it by looking towards business leaders and those in philanthropy, conceivably to help put the event on financially. Now, reaction to this online has not been good. A lot of people pointing out that they don't want to see it go away. They also do not want a reimagined version of it, because many feel that means it's going to be a scaled down version of December nights, a tradition that's been going on for decades inside of Balboa Park. Back to you guys in studio.
Chris, thank you very much for that. And now, did you feel it or did you feel them? Hundreds of earthquakes rattled the Imperial Valley over the weekend. The strongest hit just after midnight yesterday, a magnitude 4.7. That's a pretty big one. People throughout San Diego County reported feeling it. This is a map from the U.S. Geological Survey, the USGS, showing the shake points, as they're called, throughout Brawley. The USGS says more than 350 quakes struck in the area between the Salton Sea and the Mexican border in less than 2 days. Interesting. I never felt it, but our dog was very pacing a lot yesterday.
Okay.
I wonder if that had
So Sandy
something
felt
to do with
it,
it.
yeah.
Sandy may have a
Felt
different
it there.
sense of things. Yes,
Right,
dogs
right.
We're
usually
looking
do.
live out there this morning, and I mean, it's a combination of things, right? It's beautiful, for starters, as we kick off the day, but it's also showing off how that marine layer has been with us day over day and will continue to remain with us. Looks like across our coast and inland, of course, that's where clouds are most abundant and where visibility is reduced. El Cajon, for example, is at less than a quarter mile of visibility, as is Fallbrook. They're at about a third of a mile, but goes to show how a handful of spots are below that 1 mile marker. We broke some records yesterday. An extreme heat warning continues toward our local deserts exclusively. That's where we made it to 106 yesterday, breaking a record from 2009 at 105. Idlewild broke a record from 1960, and Thermal tied a previous record from just last year. This afternoon, we're not going to be too far from average along the coast and inland, but out toward Borrego Springs, we're going for 102 today. That'll take us to about 11 degrees above average only being 91. So a huge departure from normal if you make your way out to the deserts, whereas out along the coast and inland, it's a lot more comfortable. Another live look outside from Otay Mountain as well. 5:53 was sunrise. We had some of that light peeking through as early as just about 5 o'clock this morning. So it was just amazing to see how much we were able to see that early on in the day. Remember, our day length, so the separation between our sunrise and our sunset, that is extending day over day all the way until the summer solstice. Sunset coming at 7:38 this evening. This afternoon, Santee and El Cajon going for 73, 71 in Mira Mesa, 66 in PB, and 68 in Imperial Beach. North County looking pretty similar. Upper 60s by the coast, 70s inland. Vanessa's checking in on traffic. 609 looks pretty cloudy out there. Meg Ray is with us.
Yeah, Meg Ray is certainly with us, our natural air conditioner. I don't know about you guys, but it was hot yesterday. I had to sleep with my AC because it was so warm in my room. I know, it was stinky. I didn't like it. 6:09 is the time. Let's go ahead and give you a live look. You notice how the tops of the buildings are disappearing in the distance there. So let's say you're driving towards San Diego International Airport. Double check with your airline if you're either picking up someone or departing on a flight. Make sure that they're not encountering delays due to that low vis. All right, so that's what the 5 looks like through the curves. And this is an interesting shot here. This is the 805. It looks like they are zoomed in on the 54 connector and this is just south of the 54 coming in from Bonita. Meanwhile, this is the 5 in both directions right at Oceanside Boulevard. All right, look out for a stalled car that could potentially be blocking the off-ramp in National City on the 805 that's northbound as you make your way towards 43rd. And if you're wondering what this kind of big block of orange is, that's where we're seeing some of the worst fog right along the 15 from Ted Williams all the way down to the 52. So it looks like that's our biggest threat of the morning is the fog. No major crashes nor delays, thankfully. 65 to 70 mile per hour speeds if you're shooting up from the South Bay. If you're trying to get across to Coronado this morning, 60 mile per hour speeds. And then here's what it looks like. As I mentioned, the fog is the worst right now through parts of the East County as well as the North County, right along the 52 and the 15. All right, and we have a traffic alert for those drivers in Chula Vista. Part of Telegraph Canyon Road will be closed nightly for construction, and that starts today. It's happening on both the east and westbound sides of Telegraph Canyon from Nacion Avenue to Halecrest Drive near the 805. Now, it is between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. through Thursday, so most of us are sleeping during that time. But as I mentioned earlier, if you're kind of like us and you have to go to work early, this may impact your drive. And just an FYI, there will be detours in place for you to get around that. But of course, you'll just want to plan ahead if any of this is involved in your morning commute.